At Preston Corporation, Linda is the undisputed MVP. Her manager, Donovan, is blown away by her latest report and heaps on the praise. But there's a catch. He bars her from the board meeting, promising he'll make sure everyone knows it was her work. But as soon as the doors close, Donovan scrubs her name from the file and takes all the credit for himself. Linda tries to vent to a coworker, but her social skills are so rusty she just comes off as awkward. When the rest of the team plans a happy hour, Linda tries to slide into the conversation, but she's completely ignored. At home, her life is just as empty. Her vacation photos are a series of solo shots, and her only friend is her pet parrot. Despite the isolation, Linda stays upbeat. She's convinced that hard work will eventually pay off. After all, the company owner once told her she was next in line for a VP position. Her nightly ritual involves watching Survivor, and her bookshelf is packed with guides on wilderness survival. The next day, Bradley takes over as company president following his father's death. Eager to make a good impression, Linda rushes to introduce herself, but she's got mayo smeared on her face. Bradley is instantly repulsed. She tries to break the ice with a joke about shoes, but it bombs, leaving Bradley weirded out as he retreats to his office. Later, Bradley notices a smudge of mayo on his own hand and complains about how disgusting Linda is. An executive, Franklin, reminds him that Linda was promised the VP spot, but Bradley has other plans. He's giving the promotion to Donovan. Franklin warns him that the company is basically held together by Linda. Even Bradley's father relied on her for everything. Bradley doesn't care. He wants her tucked away in a back office where he doesn't have to look at her. Franklin desperately points out they have a massive meeting in Bangkok coming up. Donovan can't handle the workload alone, especially the nightmare that is Appendix D. Bradley finally agrees to bring Linda along, but only as Donovan's ghostwriter. She's strictly forbidden from entering the actual meeting. Later, Linda catches Bradley and Donovan acting like best friends. A coworker breaks the news. They're old fraternity brothers, and Donovan has officially been named VP. Fuming, Linda storms into Bradley's office. She points out that Donovan has been there for 6 months, while she's put in 7 years of hard labor. Bradley's excuse? Linda is a numbers person, not a people person. He needs someone with charm to close deals. To twist the knife, he tells her she has food in her teeth just to humiliate her further. He offers a compromise if she fixes Appendix D during the Bangkok trip. She can prove him wrong. Before she can argue, Bradley's fiancée Zuri walks in, sporting a massive diamond ring. As Linda tries to leave, Bradley drops another blow. He lies and says people have complained about the smell of her lunch, ordering her to eat in the break room from now on. Linda walks through the office fighting back tears, feeling everyone's judgmental gaze. Once she hits her car, she breaks down, trying to tell herself she's enough even as she sobs. On the day of the fight, Linda shows up energized, announcing she's solved Appendix D, but Bradley couldn't care less. During the flight, Linda is the only one working while the guys goof off. Donovan even finds her old Survivor audition tape and plays it for everyone to mock. Realizing her team views her as a joke, Linda hits her breaking point. She decides to keep the solution to the report to herself. Suddenly, the plane hits violent turbulence. The flight attendant orders everyone to buckle up. Linda and Bradley comply, but Bradley mocks the others, saying only weaklings need seatbelts. The tough guys laugh and stay unbuckled until the next jolt sends Donovan and 2 others flying across the cabin. An engine catches fire and the plane goes into a nosedive. The fuselage rips open and the cabin depressurizes, sucking one employee out into the sky. Donovan grabs Linda's leg, and for a second it looks like she's helping him until he tries to steal her seat. Meanwhile, another guy tries to cling to Bradley. Bradley heartlessly kicks him off. The man grabs Donovan's leg instead. In the chaos, Linda's glasses fly off and hit the man. As Donovan screams at him to let go, the man bites his leg and Donovan punches him back. Donovan then grabs Linda by the throat, still trying to take her seat. Linda grabs a fork and stabs him in the hand. The sudden pain causes him to lose his grip, and both men are sucked out of the hole. Donovan's tie gets snagged, leaving his body dangling and thumping against the window. When he begs for help, Linda simply shuts the window blind. The plane ditches into the ocean and the cabin floods. Linda struggles with her seatbelt underwater, barely managing to free herself. She swims past the lifeless body of the flight attendant and reaches the surface, only to realize she's in the middle of a vast, empty ocean. The plane sinks, leaving her alone. The next morning, Linda washes up on a deserted island. While exploring, she finds Bradley unconscious with a nasty gash on his leg. Channeling her survival knowledge, she fashions a stone blade, gathers vines, and builds a makeshift shelter. She even sets up a rainwater collection system using coconut shells. That evening, she huddles in the dry shelter while Bradley remains out cold. The next day, Linda is hydrated and ready. Bradley finally wakes up. When she tells him they're the only survivors, he has a breakdown but thanks her for saving his life. Linda then gets to work, successfully starting a fire and catching a fish. She offers some to Bradley, but he turns his nose up at the smell. Linda isn't having it and literally shoves the food down his throat. By morning, Linda is thrilled to have found a conch shell, but Bradley is already back to his arrogant self. He demands to know why she hasn't built a distress signal or found a GPS. Linda points out that staying alive was the priority. Bradley insists getting rescued is the only thing that matters. When he tries to stand, he collapses in pain. Linda tries to help, but he snaps at her, telling her not to touch him. She mocks his soft hands, which sends Bradley into a rage. He reminds her she's still his employee and needs to watch her tone. Fed up, Linda packs her gear and moves out, leaving him to fend for himself. Bradley tries to play it cool, but hunger and thirst quickly set in. He realizes he's helpless without her. That night, his flimsy shelter blows away. By the next day, he's sunburned and drifting into unconsciousness. Linda returns with water and a reality check. They aren't in the office anymore. Bradley finally humbles himself and accepts the food. Linda spots boar tracks and starts crafting a spear. Bradley scoffs at the idea of Linda from accounting hunting a boar. She sharply corrects him. She's strategy and planning, and calls him out for never even looking at her work. In the brush, Linda tracks the beast, her heart pounding. The boar charges, knocking her down. It gets momentarily snagged on a fallen tree, giving her a small window to run. The boar hunts her down, but she outsmarts it by leaving her jacket as a decoy. She drops from a tree and stabs it in the neck. 6:14. The spear snaps and the boar tries to shake her off. As it charges again, she uses the broken half of the spear to strike. 6:18. The beast is stubborn, spraying blood and bile into her face as it fights for life. 6:21. In a final burst of adrenaline, Linda stabs the boar through the eye, finally putting it down. 6:27. She drags the head back to camp like a trophy, admitting she actually enjoys the kill. 6:32. They feast on the meat. A few days later, while showering at a waterfall, Linda spots a boat in the distance. 6:40. She starts to scream for help, but stops. She realizes she's actually happy on the island. 6:47. She heads back to camp and shows Bradley a backpack she wove from leaves. 6:50. Bradley is losing it. It's been 2 weeks and he's tired of playing house. He demands they build a raft. 6:91. Linda thinks a raft is suicide and the two get into a shouting match. Bradley realizes Linda wants to stay and tries to hobble away. He pulls rank, reminding her he's the president of a major corporation. Linda laughs in his face, calling him a nepo baby who inherited everything. Bradley fires her on the spot. Linda just keeps laughing. Bradley tries to start his own camp, but he fails miserably at every basic task. Meanwhile, Linda is living in luxury with a hammock, a hut, and plenty of food. She even writes help in the sand, just to show she could leave if she wanted to. Bradley is so hungry he tries to eat a bug, but he can't stomach it. Eventually, he crawls back to Linda, who has prepared a full sushi spread. She humiliates him by using his own food-in-your-teeth insult. He notices she has a knife now, which she claims washed up on shore. Bradley tries to apologize, but Linda makes him work for it. He's forced to admit he underestimated her and that she's the soul of the company. He eventually drops to his knees, begging for help and even offering sexual favors. Linda shuts that down immediately, but agrees to let him back into the camp. That afternoon, she starts physical therapy on his leg. She leads him up a dangerous mountain path, showing him the island's layout and teaching him how to test for poisonous berries. She points out a specific area marked by 2 X-shaped rocks, warning him it's a death trap of thorns and poison vines. On the way down, a ledge collapses under Linda. Bradley catches her, saving her life. They fall into each other's arms and share a genuine laugh.
At dinner, they break into some fermented fruit alcohol Linda made. Drunk and vulnerable, Linda reveals she was married for 10 years, but her husband was a monster. Bradley relates, opening up about his cold father and abusive mother. Linda admits she essentially killed her husband. He was drunk and abusive, and instead of hiding the keys like usual, she let him drive away to his death. She's never told anyone, and in her drunken state, she tells Bradley they should just stay on the island forever. The next morning, Linda has a hangover. She watches Bradley bathing and realizes she's starting to find him attractive. A massive storm rolls in. Linda saves Bradley from a falling tree, and they huddle together in a cave for warmth. The next day, they find their camp leveled. Linda feels guilty for building so close to the shore, but Bradley is supportive. He says they'll build a better one on higher ground together. Sometime later, life is stable. Bradley even tries to cook dinner for the first time. But it's a trap. Linda starts feeling dizzy. Bradley spiked her food with the poisonous berries she warned him about. As she collapses, Bradley drags out a secret raft he's been building. He rows out into the surf, feeling triumphant. He gives Linda the finger as he hits the waves, but his craftsmanship is garbage. The raft disintegrates, and Bradley nearly drowns. He hallucinates his fiancée Zuri coming to save him, but she just pukes on him. In reality, it's Linda. Despite being poisoned, she dragged him back to shore and is performing CPR while vomiting from the berries. The next morning, the dynamic has shifted. Linda explains that he needs to learn he is no longer in control. Bradley suddenly becomes paralyzed. Linda reveals she fed him a toxin from a specific octopus that freezes the nerves. He can feel everything, but he can't move. Linda heats her knife in the fire and strips Bradley's clothes. She tells a story about her old dog that was fixed to make him more obedient. She looms over Bradley's groin with the red-hot blade. He cries as blood spatters his face. She pulls away a dead rat, revealing the blood was just a prank to terrify him. She warns him that next time it won't be a rat. Once he recovers, Bradley is a broken man. While Linda is out gathering fruit, she spots a boat. Zuri is on it. Zuri hugs Linda, genuinely relieved to find her. Linda tells them Bradley is safe, but her mind is racing. She doesn't want her island paradise to end. The captain confirms there are no other search parties. Zuri funded this mission privately. Linda leads them up the mountain, claiming the camp is at the summit. When they reach the crumbling ledge, Linda stops to tie her shoe and tells them to go ahead. Zuri falls. The captain tries to save her and begs Linda for help, but Linda just watches them plummet. Back at camp, Linda is haunted by guilt. Bradley suggests a hunt, but Linda takes a sick day. 12:10. Bradley notices the knife is left out. That night, Linda hallucinates a waterlogged Zuri calling her a murderer. 12:17. She panics, swinging her torch at ghosts. 12:25. The next morning, Bradley goes hunting alone and finds a hand sticking out of the sand. He recognizes Zuri's engagement ring. 12:32. He screams in agony and sprints back to confront Linda. He demands to know if she killed Zuri. Linda claims it was an accident, but Bradley doesn't buy it. He brings up her husband and Linda reaches for her knife, but Bradley got to it first. 12:48. Linda bolts into the jungle. Bradley loses her for a second, then spots her shoes behind a tree. It's a bait and switch. Linda jumps him, trying to strangle him with her shoelaces. It's a brutal, primal fight. Bradley rips skin from her head. Linda bites a chunk out of his shoulder. Bradley gouges at her eye, but Linda cracks him over the head with a rock. Dazed, Bradley watches as Linda shows him the engagement ring. She swallows it, gives him the finger, and the fight resumes. Linda manages to reclaim the knife and stabs Bradley in the gut. He flees toward the X-rocks. Linda doesn't follow. She thinks the thorns will finish him off. But Bradley discovers the dangerous area was another lie. On the other side of the island is a luxury vacation rental. He breaks in, bandages his wound, and grabs water from the fridge. Suddenly, Linda's voice echoes through the house. He checks the kitchen, but every single knife is gone. Linda mocks him over the security system. She admits she found the house weeks ago, watched the staff drop off supplies, and memorized the door code.
She also confesses to killing the captain and Zuri. Broadly wanders through the house, haunted. 1409. Linda corners him, but this time she has a gun. 1417. A terrified Broadly pleads for his life. He swears he's a changed man and says he loves her. He begs her to live in the house with him as a couple. 1426. Linda says she loves him too, but she notices a horn is missing from a decorative helmet. 1434. Broadly lunges, slashing her with the horn. She drops the gun and Broadly grabs it, pulling the trigger. It's empty. Linda grabs a golf club and beats him to death. 1450. A year later, Linda is a celebrity, rubbing elbows with the elite on a golf course. 1459. The world believes she was the sole survivor who escaped on a raft. She has a movie deal, a best-selling memoir, and is currently writing a self-help book about the only person you can truly count on, yourself.
Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button and the bell notification icon.
Subscribe for more content.